Hey y'all, I'm DRBibliophile, and I've got a book review for you today. Here it is. It is The Hero's Guide to Being an Outlaw by Christopher Healy. This is the third book and final of the Hero's Guide trilogy. And just like any good trilogy, I am so sad to see it go. Not even trilogy, just a series in general. I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You enjoyed the series and you don't want it to end. You understand that it has to at some point, but when you finally get to that point, even if it's well written, you're still just kind of sad. And that's how I am with this one. So this one right here, The Hero's Guide to Being an Outlaw, picks up where The Hero's Guide to Storming Your Castle left off. And in case I don't think I ever did a review for the first one, so let me quickly summarize what the series is. So the Hero's Guide series is a reimagining of classic fairy tales. These ones are unique in the fact that they tell the stories from the side of Prince Charming, or in this case, the Princess Charming. And yes, I just said that, and it sounded every bit as embarrassing as I thought it would. In this series, the princes are Liam, Frederick, Duncan, and Gustav. And they are wonderful. Their counterpart princesses are Briar Rose, Sleeping Beauty. We have Cinderella, also called Ella in this series, Snow White, and Rapunzel. The entire premise for the story was that you never know in the classic telling of the fairy tales who Prince Charming is. He just runs in at the last second, somehow saves the princess, and that's all you ever hear about him. The only one that gives a little bit of background, maybe Cinderella, with the prince. I don't even know if he has a name. This is called Frederick. And so this series goes to tell their stories. Every one of the princes has very unique characteristics to him. For example, Liam is the general hero of the group and just wants to save everybody. He is what you would hope for if you were a girl, as you were Prince Charming, need to clarify. Gustav is a Scandinavian Viking-like guy, and he is actually the Prince Charming of the Rapunzel story. Duncan is Snow White's Prince Charming, and he is the most bumbling, idiotic buffoon I've ever read. But he's so wonderfully written that you end up falling in love with him. And Frederick is Cinderella's Prince Charming, and he is the typical prince that's never been outside, really doesn't know what dirt and things like that are, is scared of germs, and just likes to look nice, kind of a dandy-like guy. The first two books deal with the princes having to get their princesses back and establishing a name for themselves instead of just the princesses, but in this one we pick up where the last one left off with the potential demise of a main character who I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler-free as possible. But anyways, the Princess Charming, or the League of Princes, which they're called in the series, go out to try and clear their name because they are blamed for the demise of this character. Meanwhile, while the League of Princes is hiding from the law, the female ferocious freedom fighters, or and that is not my joke, it's really bad, but it's theirs. I did not write it, I promise, is out making a name for themselves as well. And these are actually a majority of the princesses from the book. So you have Ella, Rapunzel, Snow White, and there's one other lady that joins them. This really is a great series, and I don't want to say too much because I have a real tendency to spoil books if I keep talking too long. I'm sorry if I've done that in the other reviews. I promise I'm working on it. There honestly is nothing in this book or series that I don't like, and that is extremely rare. I would actually go out and buy the entire series. If I find it anywhere, I promise you I am. It is that good. One of the best parts is that it does not try and take itself too seriously. It knows exactly what it is, it knows it's a quirky retelling of fairy tales, and it stays true to that the entire time. Yes, it has its parts where it's great character development, and you have a couple very moving scenes, but on a whole it's not trying to be a brooding thing, or dealing with the miseries of being a teenager or a young adult, or the independence of a woman that's just flaunted everywhere, or the masculinity of a man. It knows what it is. It knows it's there to entertain and to get the story across, and it doesn't try and bog itself down with anything unnecessary. Another thing I love about the series are the supporting characters. No matter who it is, even if it's just maybe 2 sentences of description about some fisherman they see on a wharf, it's well written, you can see the guy, and usually it's extremely funny. It also has some very well-placed, kind of tongue-in-cheek parts that are great. My favorite one, and this isn't really spoiling, you meet her early on, is a big strong woman named Jean Valjean. And what it is it's a direct reference to Les Miserables. The main character in that is Jean Valjean. This is Jean Valjean, and she ended up in prison by stealing a loaf of French bread. This book is littered. This entire series is just full of things like that. I mean, honestly, when I read it, I had to show everybody else in the house what it is. They thought it was a little bit crazy, but it's just so well written. I honestly even think there's a Lord of the Rings reference hiding in here somewhere. Give me a second, I'll remember it. What was it? Oh yeah, when a certain character ends up on the roof and they're trying to figure out how to get down, they're bouncing all these ideas around, many outlandish, and then one of the characters says, well, you know, we could always just like call up some giant eagles and they should be able to reference and save us. Not reference, rescue and save us. There's never a dull moment in this series. The villains are very well written. Some of them are completely evil. Most of them have like their odd fairy tale quirks. There's one guy, I don't want to give too much away, but you end up absolutely hating him because he's so annoying. He's well written and you love him for the fact of that, but the author wants you to hate him in a good way, and he does a very good job. This series, The Hero's Guide, is Christopher Healy's first series, and it's fantastic. He's one of the authors I think I'm going to read anything he writes, because if it's this good, it's going to be very enjoyable. The illustrations for this series are great. They look very much like those of Chris Riddell, and they just capture even more of the story. This book and entire series get 5 out of 5 stars. Anybody that picks this up will enjoy it, I promise. If you can get over the fact that you're picking up a book called The Hero's Guide to Being an Outlaw or Saving Your Kingdom or Storming Your Castle and realizing that it's about Princess Charming, if you can get over the initial hump of that, it's one of the most enjoyable series you will ever read. So that's it for the review. I hope you guys liked what you saw. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, and always remember, reading is the special key to take you where you want to be. Thanks, and God bless. Bye.